Guys, I just want to talk about this 2,300 days of Daniel, and this is found in Daniel 8, where he talks about how it'll be 2,300 days, then the sanctuary, which is the holy place, the Temple Mount, shall be cleansed or cleaned. So this suggests that for 2,300 days the temple or Temple Mount in God's eyes shall be dirty. But there's a lot of people that think this is sort of like preterism and this is already past. Like, just because things have happened in human history, it doesn't mean that they won't re-happen again. Jesus Christ came the first time, he's coming the second time, just from the heavens and not from the earth. Another thing that's happened before is the 70 weeks of Daniel, which people believe that's happened before the crucifixion, but don't see it happened again. Like, I'll just quickly do it. The 70 weeks of Daniel, there should be 7 weeks on 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the walls even in troublous times. Well, if we just stop it right there, yes, it happened before Jesus came the first time, but it has happened again before Jesus comes the second time. And for that 62 and 7, 63 score, so 62 and 7 equals 69. 69 weeks of Daniel 483 years ago. If you look in human history, it's so amazing. You'll see that the Solomon the Magnificent, the Ottoman Empire, fulfilled this prophecy. They came to Jerusalem 69 weeks of years ago from pretty much now, or exactly from 2017, I believe. And they rebuilt Jerusalem wall, and they started this. They started Daniel. This is found in Daniel 9. They started this 70. God started this 70 years of Daniel all over again, and we are in the time where, of course, the last 7 years will happen. 62 weeks, Messiah shall be cut off, but not for himself. Well, we know Jesus was crucified because of himself, because he said he was the Son of God. Now, at the end of this 69 weeks of years, it says that Messiah will be cut off, but not for himself. So there'll be another reason, and that is because the prince, the Antichrist, they'll put up in the temple. The people of the prince shall come and destroy the city and the sanctuary. And the end shall be there with a flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined. Now, Jerusalem has been rebuilt, so this hasn't happened yet. This is unfulfilled prophecy. And he shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week, which is 7 years, which didn't happen during the time of Jesus' crucifixion, resurrection, did it? No, it's going to happen now. We are on the cusp. Any time this 7, he shall make a covenant with many, an agreement with many for 7 years, 1 week, and in the midst or among the 7 years, he shall cause the daily sacrifice and the oblation to cease, which is on the altar, which is in the temple. Which is spoke of in Revelation 11 as well. So we know these things haven't happened yet. But this has happened before, but it's a rerun. Do you get me? So the 70 weeks of Daniel is a rerun. This 2,300 days, though, people seem to think it's happened before. But Daniel 8 talks about, it's more where he talks about the fall of the Persian Empire, the two kings, the two horns there, and the rise of the Greek Empire, with the great horn being Alexander. And when Alexander is killed, when when Alexander dies suddenly, which is a bit weird. And if you look at nowadays and age, having a great leader just die on you unexpectedly, I would actually think there was suspicion. Maybe the Greek Empire, because Alexander the Great actually embraced other religions to practice exactly what they wanted to practice, wherever and whenever and however they wanted to. It was only after him came Antiochus, which was sort of an antichrist of that time. And but out of when the Greek Empire fall, it split up into four kingdoms come out of it. And one of them was the Roman Empire, and the Roman Empire still stands to this day. So it talks about, let me see, therefore the goat waxed very great and was strong. The great horn was broken, and in it came up 4 notable horns towards the 4 winds of heaven, and out of them came a fourth, a little horn. Now this is a reference to the Antichrist, Prince William. The little horn comes up among the 10 horns in Daniel. He waxed exceeding great towards the south and towards the east and towards the pleasant land. And have you noticed how the New World Order have been pushing into the Middle East? They've taken Iraq, they've taken Afghanistan, Iran, Syria will be next. And towards the pleasant land, because they're just moving in on Israel. Waxed very great even to the host of heaven, and it was cast down some of the host and stars to the ground and stamped upon them. And yea, he magnified himself even to the Prince of Hosts, which is Jesus Christ. And by him the daily sacrifice was taken away in the temple, which is not yet built, but will be rebuilt in the end times. And the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of the sanctuary was cast down, and a host was given unto against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression, and he practiced and prospered. How long shall be this? And then he says, unto 2,300 days, which in our calculation is 6 years and 3.5 months. So pretty much like 6.5 years. And it came to pass. Now, when he goes to explain it, the ram that thou sawest were the 2 kings of Media, Persia, and the rough goat is the king of Greece, and the great horn, which is Alexander the Great, was between the great horn, that is between his eyes, is the first king. Now that being broken when Alexander died, whereas 4 stood up for it, 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power. See, the Roman Empire came out of Greece. All the Roman buildings that you see, the Buckingham Palace, the White House, Vatican, the courthouses around the nations, they're all actually Greek, but they was kind of adopted by the Romans. But not in his power. See, it's not a Greek empire, it's a Roman empire. Shall stand up out of the nations, but not in his power. So not Greek, they're Roman. And in the latter days, so in the last days, which we're in now, so this is not preterism, this is not middle age, this is latter age, this is in the latter time, it says, in the latter time, when the transgressors of their kingdom, when the transgressors have come to the full. The transgressors have not come to the full yet. The popes have not, actually, we're on the last pope now, but they have, well, I suppose they have come to their full. The popes have come to their last end. So this is talking about now, when the transgressors, the popes, have come to their end, which is now. A king, which the Pope is not, which Barack Obama is not, which Prince William will be. a king having fierce countenance, which he has a good smile, a big smile, and he's charming and everything else. Having fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. This is the little horn that comes out of the 10 big horns. Shall stand up, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. See, he has Satan incarnated within Barack Obama to actually set up the New World Order for him and be there by his side also. Well, not maybe be by his side, but in the background doing it all for him. Satan incarnate, Barack Obama. So not by his power, the Antichrist, but by his Father being with him, incarnated on the earth. And shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. See, again, this is not middle age, because the holy people are here now. Israel is rebuilt. We have Israel and we have Christians all across the world. But in the last 3.5 years, he shall destroy the mighty people. And through the policy, also craft shall prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, like Daniel says, like Revelation says, speaking blasphemies. And by peace, like the peace, the agreement, the covenant, the league were made with many, he shall destroy many, and shall stand up against the Prince of Princes. There you go. At Armageddon he shall stand up, might try to make war with Jesus Christ's return. But shall be broken without hand. The sword that comes from his mouth, like I said about my Armageddon dream, a massive flash of light, and then it's done. Broken without hand. And the vision of the evening, not evenings, of the evening and the morning, which was told is true. Therefore shut out thy vision, for it shall be for many days. And it's a bit like it says in another part of Daniel, these prophecies won't be understood until the end, the last days. And Daniel fainted and was sick. So it's talking about a time of where it's not preterism, because these like I say, Alex the Great was done with, split into empires. One of the empires is still here. I remember one of the other empires was the Seleucid Empire, if that's pronounced right. I think that's what Antiochus come out of. But then you have the Roman Empire, which came out of it, which still stands today. Sunday worship, Sunday churches, it still stands today. There is no fall of the Roman Empire. It's all rubbish. If you look at even America, you have the symbolism of the courts and that. You have even the fast gaze. You have the fast gaze on the symbolism of America. America's so new, it's like the newest nation. And here's another thing where it says, here you go, and when the great horn was broken, if you believe that this was preterism, was broken, 4 nations towards the 4 winds of heaven. 4 winds of heaven. Now at that time everything was just concentrated to like Europe, Middle East, maybe a bit into Africa and a bit into Asia. But the 4 winds of heaven is the whole world. Now the Roman Empire didn't start spreading until well after that, until after Christ even. And like I said, America, how new is America? And America is the 3rd part of the Babylonian Trinity. So the 4 winds of heaven, that prophecy right there could only happen in after the Dark Ages and the ages that we're in now. In fact, this last 2,000 years even is when this prophecy has been fulfilled. So this prophecy has to come after. And of course the transgressors reaching their full, the popes reaching their full, has only just happened now. So we know that this prophecy of the 2,300 days will happen now. So 2,300 days, like I said, it's 1 year and about 3.5 months. And back in 2016, I thought about this because I was sort of looking at the different, the sign in the heavens, the Revelation 12 sign, and then it's weird because when Barack Obama, lightning from the heights, Satan incarnated, was leaving office, it was the exact time actually that Jupiter came into Virgo to make her pregnant. In fact, Satan's been out there watching out for the man-child in the heavens ever since. He's been out there for not even 3.5 years since the birth of Revelation 12. He's been out there in the heavens looking out for this 9 months even before that. So, you know, over 4 years now he's been looking out, and you can tell that because you haven't seen Barack Obama for over 4 years. He hasn't been in anything, because when he gets incarnated, mate, he's going to be on the ball. He's going to be bringing about his new world order. Quickly, aggressively. But for 4 years, he's like he disappeared into thin air. But back in 2016, when Jupiter moved into Virgo, an interesting thing happened. The United Nations just suddenly went, oh, the Jews are not entitled to any history of the Temple Mount. And even the Muslims, were just as much as the Jews going, what are you talking about, mate? What are you talking about, you idiots? Like, you know, even the Muslims were saying, they have as much rights to the history as anyone else, if not more, because that's where Solomon's temple sat. And, you know, there was arguments and, you know, things, but it's weird because that 2016 was like sort of lining up exactly, and it sort of counted back 2,300 days until, you know, I had the woman pregnant, and then she gave birth, and then 2-year gap, and then a 3.5 years of tribulation, and it all added up to 6 years and 3 months and a half. But obviously that's not the meaning, the true 2,300 days. Of course, it, like everything else, you know, history repeating, it could have just been like a precursor event. Because, you know, if we do the maths, you know, we had since like December 2016, so we had 17, Revelation 12 sign, 18, 19, 20, which is 4 years, and now we're into 2021, 6 months on from there, so like 4.5. So really there'd only be, you know, 1.5, 2 years left. So obviously that's not the thing, because when the temple is dirty is when the Antichrist will sit in the temple claiming to be God. And that only happens in the last 3.5 years. So there's something else coming, you know what I mean? That was a great thing to look at, but obviously that United Nations thing that Barack Obama was probably head of, that was his last gasp before he left, just a shot at the Jews. That obviously was not the 2,300 days of the temple being dirty. So this is something to come. So 6 years and 3 months and a half. So this may be outside of the 7-year agreement. It might be inside of the 7-year agreement. We know that the last 3.5 years is not going to. We have tons of scripture what's going to happen. You know what I mean? You know, Israel will flee into the wilderness. The two witnesses will come first, really. The two witnesses come first. The abomination set up so Israel flees into the wilderness for 3.5 years. The Antichrist sits claiming to, after he's resurrected from the dead, he claims to be God for 42 months. The Romans come and they destroy the city, probably just by hand, for 42 months. The daily sacrifice is taken away for 1,290 days. And then Jesus returns after the 1,335 days at Armageddon. So we have plenty of scripture of what's going to happen in the last 3.5 years, but it's going to be the first 3.5 years that are going to be cut short. I mean, we do have timelines for things that will happen there, like trumpet judgment number 5. The locusts come out with the smoke of the bottomless pit, which I believe is Yellowstone. They come out and they torment people for 5 months. Now, and then trumpet number 6, the nuclear holocaust of the world, the 4-country alliance and the 200 million man army armed with truck-mounted nuclear missiles and tanks. Well, there's wording in there, I'm not sure if it's quite literal, but it says for like a day and a month, or a week and a month and a year, which kind of adds up to like 13 months. I'm not sure if that's quite literally, that's how long this nuclear World War III will take, 13 months. It may be. In Daniel it also says that the Antichrist will plot against the Holy Covenant for 1 year. So we have things that will happen in the first 3.5 years, but you add that nuclear holocaust to the locusts coming out tormenting people for 5 months, then that's 1.5 years. So you kind of get 1.5 years of trumpet judgments. That's going to happen, maybe after the Antichrist. After that, maybe he plots then, so that's like 2.5 years. So it looks like the first 3.5 years is going to cut short. So this 6 years and 3.5 months will obviously come towards the beginning of when the 7-year agreement's made. So just look out for, because that 2016 was probably a precursor, and is it's definitely not, because we've run out of years. But it'd be something like that. It'd be like something like, in fact, Revelation says that the Romans will actually have control over the Temple Mount. If you look at it now, Israel has control and the Muslims pray on it. But that's all going to change. Actually, it's going to change mega, because actually the Muslims are going to get kicked off, really, because the Jewish temple is set up and the outer court of the temple is controlled by the Romans, it says, is given over to the Gentiles. So the Roman church will control the Temple Mount, and who knows, it may even control Israel as well. And that's probably, I believe, when that agreement is made, that the Romans are coming in to take control here of the Temple Mount. Temple Mount. Now, I believe that will be the time in God's eye that temple is dirty now, because of even just it may be peaceably at first, but the plan that they want to build a temple just to have this Antichrist come in and claim to be God and rule the world. From it, and worshipped as a god from it, having his image put into all the churches in the world. I believe that'll be the time where God says it, for 2,300 days, and then afterwards it'll be cleaned. So I don't know exactly when that will be, but when it does happen, I'll know that, this is it. Just like I kind of, in 2016, I noticed that thing with the Temple Mount was a bit odd, but it should come towards the beginning, I reckon, at the beginning of this 7-year tribulation. It may even be part of the 7-year agreement, who knows? So yeah, I just want to touch on this. 2,300 days. God bless you all anyway, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and please share this video and share this article on all your social media sites. So God bless you all. Amen.